halfway through this game. We will be halfway through our Swiss rounds here at the Battle Hardened here in Milwaukee, and the players are rip-roaring and ready to go, and I believe the two of us are as well. Sam O'Byrne, DMArmada, shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
We have ourselves a mirror, and not just any mirror. It's a dash mirror. This is gonna be a bit of a time, I think, because I do know at least one of these decks is going to be playing a card called Count Your Blessings.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's see if the boogeyman in the room is truly as scary as they say. The question here will be, are both of these players on the same strategy? And if so, because the game will be going long, how do they each set up their pitch stack, and how does the end game favor one player over another? Because I don't believe these players, they're not both on Team Ascent, right? So they've got different approaches to the matchup, got different approaches to deck building construction, and how they're going to rip it out. So I'm looking forward to seeing.
One of the things that really just drew me into the game of Flesh and Blood early on when the game released in 2019 and started to grow in popularity in 2020 was the natural fatigue state that you can reach thanks to just the persistent damage that a weapon can present. And what does it look like to go to that natural fatigue state after pitching your deck and pitching your deck again, and who is the most powerful hero when you actually reach that 4 cards in circulation and 1 weapon? And I always came back to Dash being just this powerhouse of a fatigue deck, and now with the ability to gain some life, does that improve her chances of just getting to that natural state where she can just completely outvalue you? We'll find out during this game.
All right, brother.
Here we go.
Have fun.
Let's see what the presentation is. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of similar equipment here, except it's the Achilles Accelerator on the part of Dagan and the Teklo base legs on the part of Lee Kimball, which is the only difference in the equipment slot. We are in for a long time and a good time, my friends.
Both this time around. It's both a good time and a long time.
Best card in the game.
Sigil of Solace, best card in the game. Lee's going to gain 3 up to 43. I do also want to just take a quick note over here. I'm seeing a 9.5 graded cold foil Fine Doll Spring Tunic. If that does not tell you that this man likes his flesh and blood and this man has invested in his card game, brother, I don't know what does.
That's very accurate. Also, could it be? No, it's just a Tekla base arm. Nothing fancy there. Okay, great. Moving on. Double pitching here. Fate Foreseen, Oasis Respite, going to the bottom of the deck. Those are...
I really might write down pitch stacks, man.
At this point, we might need to bust out. No, let's go ahead and do that.
Plus Oasis for Mr. Lee Kimball. That's going to be the bottom of the deck. Expedite is going to be the block. We're going to pitch, break the chain, blue, Count Your Blessings.
All right, not played yet. Of course, pitched to the bottom. It's going to be going down. Cycling everything back around, of course, Induction Chamber plus the Teklo Plasma Pistol.
Taking the Fate Foreseen there, going to opt a card to the bottom. Honestly, I think a great part of these, right, there's Count Your Blessings to start things off for Dagan White, but a great part of Fate Foreseen, right? Dagan now gets to hide information about his pitch stack, putting the card on the top of the deck. Maybe he didn't want it there, but maybe it's a powerful threat, something he does not want Lee to be tracking as well. That's a large part about opting. It's part of why Crown of Seeds was so good. It allowed you to hide your pitch stack from your opponent.
One of the really interesting points about this matchup is not just how often we see Count Your Blessings, but it's also how many cards did you bring into this matchup? Did you both fat deck? Are you both running like your entire sideboard just to play this, grindy fatigue game? Or did you lower it so that you could maybe get to those items faster and try to put more deterministic damage onto the board? And I think we see, we see an Induction Chamber getting that item quickly onto the board, finding those purifiers quickly, also gives you a lot more leeway in the matchup. So it may not just be a pure fatigue race. It may also be about finding your items quickly.
Finding the items, so important. Worth it for Dagan, though, to pitch away that Steel Soul Controller. The only way he can make those Teklo base arms gain basically 5 life over the course of the game. However, worth it to establish that second Induction Chamber early. Maybe that pressure will be the difference. No blocks, go again is the call from Lee. He's at 46 after 2 Sigil of Solaces. So Dagan now down to 39. Gonna load with the other 2 cards.
Keep that eye on the clock. These players are both playing quickly, but of course these decks are more tech to fatigue their opponents, but when both players are trying to get to this fatigue state and get the value out of their weapon, it behooves them to also both play quickly within the time frame and also make a little bit more concessions to not blocking and sending damage. It's kind of a weird thing, a paradox, if you will, of like, we're both fatigue decks, but we also both kind of want to hit each other in the face to make our fatigue style better. Yes, those are two titanium
Okay,
baubles.
those are, because those aren't both proxies, right? Those are literally just two titanium baubles.
I believe they're two titanium baubles.
Count your blessings, number 2. That's going to gain some life here, but we're pitching away another Fate Foreseen after establishing the Plasma Purifier. Talk about if you can high roll in a slow, grindy matchup. Dagan has found both items, no Spark of Genius necessary, back-to-back turns. He is set up. And we talk about establishing an arsenal. He's got a true one. It's just made of making that weapon as big as possible.
Yeah, that's really the key in this matchup, I think, is finding these pieces of equipment, and in this case, these items early and often, using them often. Yeah, it's okay to take some damage. It's okay to get shot with a pistol a bunch, as long as you're establishing that board state. Reloading the pistol, reloading the induction chamber, pitching. Count your blessings again.
Now, 2 titanium baubles. If that does not, like you can see, he's got a little smirk on his face, right? With the one floating, let's see, it looks like it is just going to be a smash up. So this is one of the new cards. It threatens to take an attack action card out of the arsenal. Dagan here, seeing if he wants to respect this one. Lee, at a comfortable, normal 52 life in Flesh and Blood. That is going to buy the Sink Below out of the arsenal. For Dagan, blocking 4. But soon those items, they may threaten to just really turn this game on its head. Lee has found more life gain, but Dagan's found more items.
Yeah,
That's important in this matchup.
Lee also notably has already pitched away some of those big attacks, clearly favoring those big, like there's Fiendel's Fighting Spirit that he had earlier as well. Not finding the items as quickly and making a real point of it is Dagan to play those out, to play effectively, and just send the pistols as much as possible because it's free damage.
3 damage here. Threatening 2 different go-agains. First one, going to give go-again. You can see both players here also playing quite fast because they know, like we said early, you got to play fast if you're playing a fatigue-style deck to actually finish the game in time.
I know, just do it. You're good. Load. Yep.
Keeping everything face up, everything clear, sending the pistol, loading there. 3 more damage. Has the capacity to attack react. To give it go again.
Lock 2, take 1.
Block 2, take 1. Another smash up a card. Lee's clearly, that's probably a deck-building decision difference in the matchup.
Yes, it seems to be that way, right?
Take 1 over the top, Lee, so I believe should be at 48.
Counter. I just pitched it, yeah. So
Load again. Throttle zipper.
1 floats.
In the pitch.
Yeah, based on the way that this early game has actually transpired, if Dagan can find another piece of his puzzle, essentially, that's a pretty decent one. But if he can find, Plasma Purifier number 2, we might not have to count pitch stacks for much longer because he's going to be able to just put so much damage.
I literally just had the same thought. I'm like, I'm writing down these pitch stacks, but man, he's pitching towards this item creation that he has done so well already. The Plasma Purifier and the 2 induction chambers.
You took 1. Yes. Thank you. Cool. Thank you.
Establishing the life total, making sure, Lee at 48 after taking the 1 off the pistol, but the Steel Soul Controller, thanks to the Tunic resource, that is 3 temper over the course of this game.
Plasma Pistol going to shoot for 2. We'll say that a lot. In fact, we should have a running count of how many times we say Plasma Pistol at this point.
Oh my God.
Going to pitch into reloading here. Over pitching, and then playing out the induction chamber. Finding another piece, that's what you want to do. You want to keep up the tempo. But Dagan, on his side of things, has another Plasma Purifier. He finds, I think it's 2 Spark of Geniuses as well, which in this case is just finding the combo faster. He is well and truly set up in this game. This is going incredibly well. If you're picking anyone in this matchup to sit in their shoes, Dagan, with all of these equipment pieces and all of these, I should say, items that are about to enter play, it would be perhaps his.
Spark of Genius here. Going to go find another item and then keep the Plasma Purifier for the arsenal. See what the item is he wants to grab. He is running all 3 induction chambers. He's about to have 3 induction chambers, and on his next turn, he'll have that second Plasma Purifier. That means 4. If he's already started on the turn, it can be 16 damage just straight from the pistol.
Yeah, finding the induction chamber here to have all three of them in play is just so incredible. I mean, you can also consider maybe going and getting the other plasma purifier in this like turn cycle, but having the 3 induction chambers out first is by far and away the most optimal because now you can attack react 3 times and sense so much more damage. This game may not last nearly as long as we think.
Last ditch effort, speaking to where this game might be going towards.
Go again.
To go again, damage taken by Dagon down to 34. Not concerned about his life total with the count the blessings in the deck.
Load pistol. Yep. Shoot you for 2.
2,
No blocks. Give it go again.
no blocks. Give it go again, of course. 2 damage going down to 32. High octane flesh and blood as we're seeing. Dash is known for going fast. It's in her name.
Going to be pitching to reload here. Has the Tunic resource available. Probably wants to just take that plus more. Oh, and just going to spark here and grab a purifier, it looks like. Pitching that plus the Tunic resource does mean that we're digging for... I think he passed a purifier. Maybe he's considering his options here.
Going to be shuffling from here, so whatever
We're gonna purifier.
these whatever order they're in now, wherever the plasma purifier and the induction chambers are now, they will not be there any longer as they're going to go ahead and be completely reordered thanks to the Spark of Genius. So right now it's almost even. Lee's only down 1 item to Dagon's 4. However, we know the plasma purifier is in the arsenal.
Yep, that is a huge key in this matchup. Trying to keep pace after Dagon's had this just insanely hot start of all of these items that he's found very quickly. It is a very key point, is being able to at least get your value there of getting your own item on play. But here's the activation of the Plasma Purifier. Going to send the tech low. This is going to come across for 3. This represents 9 total damage across this turn.
Go again. Sure.
3 damage blocked out by the sensor. Go again from the induction chamber. Looks like we're going to block again if we're Lee here.
This is a 1-card 9. Thanks to the blue pitch and
Pretty
thanks
good.
to all of these equipment that we've set up.
Pretty good.
Load.
Load, shoot again.
No blocks.
Threaten to give it go again.
Go again. I'm at 45.
45 to 32 is the call from the players. Still 3 cards in the hand.
Pitching to reload everything, most likely, is what we're going to see here. And then the play of the Plasma Purifier number 2 from the arsenal is what we can most likely expect.
Yep.
With the 1 float, we can play the final
Yeah,
purifier.
Lee
You can
shakes
see
his head
it.
incredulously. He knows that this is a race for items and that whoever can get this deterministic damage online first is going to be so much further. He even says it. He's up 45 to 32, and he says, nothing I can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Again, we talked about in these games, in the style of games, right? Fatigue-style games, mirror matches of the same deck. Sometimes it does come down a little bit to draw sequence and who can find the important pieces first. Dagon White's top of the deck is cooperating significantly better than Lee's. Here comes a CNC with no arsenal as Dagon. That would have been great the turn before to threaten that Plasma Purifier, but now that it's out of the deck, Dagon's happy to just take 6.
He's going to give the block protect some life total. I think it's important to do this because you're getting full value
Yes.
off of the equipment so that you can actually prevent 3 the first time. Now from this point you can just chuck that into a pistol if they only have pistol for 2. But you want the pure value of just the block and keep your life total relatively close because now you can just send, what is this, 12 damage? Just 12 damage. There it is.
Oh, I think even more if he has more cards in hand, right? Because he can just continue to give it go again. So 4, it'll be 4 into 4 into 4 into 4, right? So here's a good little 16. We talked about it early. We said he'll be doing it at the end of the game. He'll be throwing 16 damage, but Dakin said, no, I just need the first cycle, my brother. I don't need to be waiting until second cycle. Let me get all the way there. We've gone 4 into 4 already.
Blocks. Go again. 39.
And the life is starting to leave Lee.
6 for everything.
Yep, reloading everything. Most of the time in this style of deck, your hand is essentially just reloads.
More time.
And he has a Fate Foreseen, sends for the final point. You're right, 16 total damage, and Arsenal's a sink below, or sorry, a Fate Foreseen.
Yep, put those cards. Looks like maybe the Ripple Away went to the top instead. If there's any tokens to be created, the Ripple Away could have something to say about that. We've seen it once. I mean, you know what? Let's see it again. We're going to go ahead and load the pistol and come in threatening to give it a go again. Though, importantly, I was going to say, is that plasma purifier? It looks like he activated it and then put a counter right back on it. I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, he's going to block for 3 here. It's going to give it a go again.
Command and Conquer not looking nearly as good. We saw that Lee was not able to use it on his last turn. Dagan saying, listen, I know this song and dance. You're going to go ahead and use all your cards. The CNC is not going to get me any value. Might as well get my 3 points of value from the block.
Well, I think the main reason is that in his hand, and maybe if he pulls it up, in his hand, there's a Spark of Genius, so he can get the final piece and just basically go full, like, Exodia combo onto the board.
It's funny because these decks often, I mean, I guess the full dash, not the switchboard dash is different. I'm used to seeing the hybrid dash really make it work with just 2 induction chambers, 1 plasma purifier, and that's enough for them, in the long game against some of the slower decks. But here, if we're really seeing every single pistol item be on the field, it will be pretty hard to stop. This is now an attack for 4, threatening go again once again.
No blocks, any reaction? Go again.
Fate opting to the bottom. Again, as Lee here, you're probably trying to dig for more of your items. So every time you get to opt, every time you get to sync, you're taking advantage of it. It's going to sync a card with Crown, I would imagine. Going to send the Oasis down.
Wants that Tunic available for the Oasis. Could keep it in the arsenal and would have it available for his Tunic for his next turn. So actually...
Puts the Steel Soul Legs, or the Steel Soul Tower, I believe it's called, to the bottom.
Go again once again. Now, counter on the pistol. 4 more. Threatens to bring Lee to 29, so that will buy a sensor block. Go again. So Lee down to 32. Has already committed 2 cards to the block here, and his Crown of Providence.
Oh, he's pitching the Spark of Genius here, just to the reload. Needs the resources to reload everything up. Takes the Tunic to reload as well. Doesn't have a full reload on this turn, so that means that in the next... Oh, maybe he's going to pitch. Yeah, maybe he is. He is just going to pitch to reload as well.
There you go. That's some interesting play with the Count Your Blessings. Sometimes it's good to pitch the Count Your Blessings because your advantage is so high thanks to your item discrepancy. You don't always need to leave it for the arsenal. It's not just like an I win button.
Keep in mind, there are 2 Count Your Blessings in Dagan's graveyard, so anytime he plays another Count Your Blessings, it will get some amount of value, except he's probably just going to shoot him with the pistol a lot instead.
Give it go again. Yep. Load pistol, shoot pistol for 3.
For the audience at home, if you're watching along with us, anyone that wants to go through and count how many times they say reload in this game, we could probably work out some sort of a giveaway or prize for you.
It would be as fun as this game.
All right, no reaction.
I'm actually enjoying this. I think this is fantastic.
I'm totally kidding.
Can you believe how fast Dagan's been able to set this up?
I know, he did kind of move in a different direction than we were expecting, and he just took that damage right down to 20 here. All of a sudden, just deciding I can take some damage because I can threaten more damage than you. I have break points. I come in for 4. That's such a difference than just 3 pistol shots with 3 damage represented.
And the important thing to note here is you actually have to take damage on that sequence because if you don't have enough blues in your hand to reload your items, you get in a really bad spot. If you have to end your turn with like a lot of your items, no steam counters, it means you have to take damage to keep the cards to pay into the reloading everything. And so that is what we saw on this turn sequence. But because you already have all of this in play, all of this sequence and ready to go, you just send 4, 4, 4, 4. Everything he threatens, just 16 points.
Shoot for 4. Give it go again. Lee's taking all this one. He's trying to have a crackback of his own. Down to 16 on the turn.
Lee looking at his hand, perhaps not counting his blessings right now. This matchup's going a little too fast. Oh, Oasis here. It is a well-timed.
Move to end. Yep.
Move to end. So now Dagan gets to keep a card in the arsenal. Now Lee's kept all the cards in the hand. But without that extra plasma purifier, it's just hard to imagine how he's going to be able to find the difference. No Tunic counter on this turn.
Finals Fighting Spirit, I'll gain 1 life.
Gain a life from the Finals Fighting Spirit, throwing some more attack actions than Dagan has. So now Lee up to 18. 2 cards, 7 damage. Keeps the Count Your Blessings. Oh, can also just play it on this turn, so most likely we'll just play it rather than arsenaling it.
Yeah.
Block 3.
Most likely going to resolve that right now, gain some life.
18, by the way, lagged, right?
Yes, you're at 18. Yep.
Okay, and then count your blessings. 5.
Gains the 5 life. Now, of course, count your blessings at this point, a fantastic way to mitigate some pistol shots because you're gaining that life back. But when every pistol represents 4, you're basically playing Aurora. And 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 is just going to outlast you. It's going to outpace you, if you will.
You can see Lee, a little shake of the head there as he drew up that induction chamber, but it's going to be hard to resolve at this point when you're facing down all this pressure. If you need to, and doesn't even block, so as he faces down, pistol for 4. Already 1 counter on the induction chamber. No blocks, go again given. Lee from 23 down to 19, was at 18, back up to 23, but now he's back down to 19. Gonna go ahead and load the pistol again, load the induction chamber, make sure we can give it go again. 4 damage coming in. Lee has to think, does he want to block? The answer is no. And around we go as the go again is given to this pistol thanks to the induction chamber.
Well said. You said what I was thinking the entire time.
Yeah. That's why, it's why we're in sync. 'Cause we're working well together.
Yeah, on the purifier. I mean, you're already gonna think get it here.
Lee resigned to the rueful stare at his hand. He knows the inevitability of the deck. I mean, he's playing it himself.
Yep.
He knows what it means to sit on 2 plasma purifiers, 3 induction chambers this soon. I mean, we are on turn 9. These players playing rather quickly. That being said, to have all of this assembled by turn 9,
4.
there's another 4 damage.
4 more that Lee has to think about. Those are 2 no blocks in the hand there. 1 purifier, 1 count your blessings. It's a way to gain a bunch of life, but they don't block. How does he want to navigate the rest of this turn? No tunic to speak of. Looks like a Warmonger's diplomacy. Now, the thing about the Warmongers is it would shut down the items because they're not weapons. So
Yeah,
that would be a turn off. That could be some real reprieve. But the question is, how does he do that and establish the item that he needs? Because neither of those cards have to go again.
Correct. That is the issue that he's run into, and I think he knows it. He also is holding these cards called Count Your Blessing that don't block. And when Count Your Blessing doesn't give you the ability to cover up just effectively, then what are they? Well, in this case, that blue Count Your Blessings is counters on your items.
Yeah.
So at least you have that going for you. But what does a red Count Your Blessings do in this position? It just feels bad. Just feels bad. Card that has caused a lot of consternation,
Yes.
if you will.
As we've seen with Dagon, right? Sometimes, you're still playing the game. You're still playing towards a, he's like, I'm on the aggressive. I'm the beatdown, right? I can't just be looking to play count the blessings. He's pitched 2 of them now.
For once in this deck, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, if we look right now, he's literally has 2 in the pitch zone.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, that's 3 that he's pitched.
Playing, like, pretty good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, same. I mean,
Yeah.
I was fully getting the intention that I was going to get somebody to just go to a draw on purpose, which is I'm okay with, understandable for this deck. It's really weird.
They're talking about the possibility of hitting a draw. Like this is a deck that wants to reach that natural fatigue end game. Both players playing at a very respectable clip,
This is
respectable pace.
by chat.
The possibility of getting to that stalemate point at the end of the round when you're at turns is a reality with this style of deck. It's something that you as the player have to gauge if you choose to run this deck out there into a tournament format. And it's not just Count Your Blessings. It's just this style of deck in general. But as you can see here, both players playing at a great, respectable, very fast pace. And this game will reach a conclusion.
Lee down to 11, but again, both of these players the potential to gain much more life than we've expected from Flesh and Blood, so that 11 might be dubious as a number. Dagon only left with 2 counters on the pistols. Let's see exactly how Lee wants to continue from here. Got the Warmongers, that allows for some counterplay. Count Your Blessing, he's going to create some steam counters of his own.
3 resources.
Inductions.
Going to be loading those up. Induction chambers, not choosing to load the purifier yet. Maybe considering just sending without purifier activations,
Shoot you for 2.
which means representing 2. Now he has a couple of options in hand. If we're looking at the hand,
Here we go.
he's got another induction chamber in hand.
Well, that one didn't get used, but yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. 2.
Yeah, Dagan there, keeping the Steel Soul Controller. It does block 2, so it's a nice little just throw it on a pistol for 2 before it comes in for 3.
Doing the math, realizing that he needs the resources for the Plasma pistol so he can fire them at least one more time and then play out that
Here we go again.
final induction chamber.
Lee, I believe that's 2 turns in a row, though, without the Tunic counter. With the cards like the Oasis in the pitch zone, that's a card you'd like to see. But he is going to go ahead and hit the Warmongers here.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to be the choice instead of the induction, maybe just arsenaling induction. But this does
This is
give,
huge.
yeah, this does give him the capacity to maybe climb back in.
No, this is absolutely huge because Dagan doesn't have counters on. Like we said, there's only 2 counters, right? So he can threaten go again twice because those are attack reactions, but it'll be go again with 2 pistols for 2, not with any of the abilities because you can't resolve the counters on the Plasma Purifier.
This could also be a moment where we pop Achilles Accelerator if you have a boost card in hand, but we have not seen a lot of this.
I don't even know if he
I
has
mean,
boost cards on that. Oh,
well, he's got
piston
blue
throttles, some
blue
zipper hits,
data
yeah.
link, and cards like that. War
Yeah.
has been
He did pitch an E-Strike early in the game, so maybe he does have a card. Matt, God, if he had E-Strike here, that would just be, he would be like, he'd be feeling so good.
Right, exactly.
With the game he's had, the luck he's had finding these items, staring down a Warmonger's diplomacy just to have like,
I know, I'm saying on Pete's.
he's feeling very peaceful. Now, to his credit, I think Lee playing this
Weapon, not attack.
is also playing into his deck building because we've seen him play Fyendal's Fighting Spirit already. We've seen him play the attack action cards. So he might feel,
Mashups,
oh, there you go, just play Plasma, just Arsenal and pass. Yeah, well, he could just as easily say War and play some big value attack, but choosing Peace instead so he can maybe play out the item that he just Arsenal.
What's interesting though from this play now from both players is Dagan also knows he's not going to be under the pressure from the pistol as well. So Dagan's not going to be facing down any offensive pressure whatsoever. So even though this potentially stops Dagan's full frontal assault with these pistol shots, Dagan's going to have a whole nother turn to be under no pressure, keep a bunch of blues, and then just start it all over again. So at first I was like, oh, this is a real moment that could change the timbre of this game, but
You got it. We got time.
it does feel as though the peace call from Lee and something he's kind of priced into perhaps might be make it challenging for Dagan to, feel anything other than all systems still go.
Yeah. I think trying to use your hand effectively, if you're trying to get maximum value when you're under the effects of Warmonger's diplomacy, I think that's his real question mark right now, trying to figure out if he wants to attack pistol, if he wants to try and boost. I think he has a blue throttle in hand currently. I think I caught a maybe brief glimpse of that. No, we can't quite make it out.
Yep, go to 9.
Give a go again. Lee down to 9, has a sigil in hand, does the Lee on the left side of your screen there. It's like we're going to load the pistol up again. This is all okay because it's a weapon action, so
Very
that's going to
key
go
point.
ahead. Get the go again. So now down to 7 is Lee. Does Dagan have some other effects to threaten damage here? He cannot put any counters on those pistols. Those are non-weapon, non-attack actions. And Warmonger says, I need you to be bloodthirsty, my friend. You have made the pact for war.
Load pistol.
Loading pistol again. Is he going to choose to throttle here? I think I saw one in the hand. He has these 2 blue throttles, so he could consider going blue throttle boost into blue throttle boost, but there's a chance he just miss.
But like you said, that's when the Achilles Accelerator could come into play.
Exactly.
Oh, no. Going to go ahead and throttle, probably Tunic, count your blessings.
Boost.
Boost. Let's see the top of the deck. It is the Ripple Away. He said, that's fine. No block. Fate for Scene, so getting the full 4 damage value out of that card. I wonder how many times Dagan has boosted today. The way he said it with a little wry grin, he goes, boost? like, this is how the card works.
Up this for an action point.
Yeah, there is the Achilles Accelerator for the action point.
Oh, does he have a 0 cost attack, or is he going to pitch the count your blessings away? No, it's just going to be the pistol here.
Yep.
Coming in 4-2. Now lead down to 5 from here. Does the Tunic go into the count your blessings? Does count your blessings cost 1 or 2? Oh,
It costs
2.
2.
So I thought.
Are you trying to cycle the last card out of your hand is the question as well, because Tunic can stay up. Count Your
Oh,
Blessings
there was a red one in the arsenal.
Gains the 5 life, puts the Count Your Blessings up to 3 now.
Dagan. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, he's keeping the blue in the arsenal. I think he's wondering a little worried. There are red cards in this deck. If he does not draw the sufficient resource cards, even though he's going to be under no pressure, he needs the blues in the hand to threaten. That this round's on me is going to change the math. Let's see. There's 1 red. and
Yeah,
3
looking
blues. So
good.
that will still keep the pressure on. But that this round's on me also gets him a whole nother card.
Yeah, that's a fantastic safety valve that your opponent played for you. Symmetrical effects, one of those things in card games that makes you really wonder whether or not they're worth it, because you're giving your opponent the value alongside of you. But in this case, in a deck that wants to go incredibly wide, a -1 across all of that feels quite nice.
2 remaining.
2 remaining into.
Can I play it on it?
Well, this is fine. I'm more questioning the
Oh.
load of this. Let me
Oh,
just-
yeah, non-weapon, non-attack action. So can you load the Tecloplasma pistol? It's an action on the weapon, but I have to. Looks like they're saying no, it's not okay because it's.
Right.
This is gone.
Well, which is what we saw Dagan do.
Yes,
on the
of course,
previous
because he's
turn,
on
he
peace.
needed
He's
war.
on peace. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but this does mean that the third and final induction chamber is now online.
But so
Titanium Bobble back in the hand for Lee. Looks like he's.
Mhm.
Oh, looks like they're both there.
Yep. They've hit the stack, I believe,
Yeah.
at this point, which is kind of funny to say. Turn 11 here. But this is his moment to really capitalize. He has the resources in hand. He has the blues. He can send full send with all of the resources coming off of the items. He can send for 16 damage. And
Oh, and then he has an E-Strike that can come in for 7 at the end.
yeah, if he's got even more, he can even send more.
hell yeah.
Be 12 plus 7, yeah. Or you can go 5, go again, bottoming a card, and
Yeah.
then send for another 4. So 9. What is
Yeah.
that?
Everything's -1. Everything's
That's
-1.
true, yeah.
So let's see. This is just going to buy the Titanium Bobble. Both players giving a laugh.
Yep.
As they've both now been committed as blocks. I think it does speak to like Lee doesn't need all the cards in his deck to be incredible. That's what he's saying with those Titanium Bobbles in the deck. He's like, listen, my deck does something, and I can have three block blues that do nothing. That's kind of part of what the deck runs on.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear loading again. Tunic is on 1. We've already attacked for everything other than if we attack with that pistol, that will be the end, as we've already given it go again enough times. E-Strike here, that's 6.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, I don't want to see that.
An actual attack.
Take 3 total.
Gain 1, take 4.
So,
Two.
2. Yep.
Lee down to 2 here.
Couldn't
Is
get
just
that.
going to have to pass the turn from there. Dagan got the E-Strike 1 turn after. It would have been just backbreaking on the Warmongers' diplomacy.
Can we just talk about the fact that these 2 pieces of equipment have provided no value in this game at all, and that actually might end up mattering greatly, being at 2, not being able to stop this persistent threat. I know the equipment suite is very sparse. This is basically what you run into every matchup. But in this specific matchup, if this deck is going to be popular, you might have to actually side something in, unless you're just playing the roulette game of try to find your
This is a wild
Evos
day.
fast.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What if I get it going again?
He said, take 3. Lee said, hold on.
13.
Let me get my value. You're not going to shark me today, sir. Of course, Dagan, one of the more upstanding players. Both of these players have been playing so quickly, making sure that everything is getting done correctly.
Sure.
But I think Lee having a bit of fun, feeling a bit of the pressure of the early items from Dagan, feeling as though some of the potential for his game was stolen from him by the top of Dagan's deck. And now, here we go. Dagan White, have your cake and eat it too, my friend. You've got all the items in the world. Your opponent's at 2. Here, he's just throwing those 2 blue pitches into the pitch zone. Just going to go ahead and load everything up.
Do that? I mean, you're just not shoot me one.
Flippantly tossing the cards down. I mean, you talk about these amazing weapons that we know in the game of Flesh and Blood. Frosty Hammer for 4, Kadachi for 1, Rosetta for 2 and 2, and
Right now.
this one right here,
Appreciate that.
Pistol for 1 million, is what we've said time after time in this game.
Finally, we're getting value from the base arms, blocking for 4. Give it go again. Lou said, sure, why not?
Hold
That makes
on.
sense to
Wait,
me.
We gotta make sure to do this right way.
When the chain is broken, Lee's making sure that we're, playing good,
Swing it
clean
before.
flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, should block 4.
Go again.
Give it
Now,
go again.
if we're giving it go again, if we're playing it correctly, those pieces of equipment go to the graveyard for graveyard effects and CNC.
In response.
CNC with the 2 floating. Float the tunic and then put a 3 block and a 1 piece in front of it.
I mean,
Take
you got
2.
And nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Lee's saying, you drew the items first, nothing I can really do, and that's part of the dangers of playing a deck without much interaction, without much ability to have any say into what your opponent does. You're really just trying to gain life, you're trying to take the game long, and you're putting yourself in the position, you play a mirror match, and their cards come out of the gate better. It's like, as he's saying, well, nothing I can do. That's part of the downsides of playing that style of deck.
1000%. If you're choosing to run a deck out there that is deterministic in its win condition and it's not presenting any sort of disruption or anything like that, you could just have that game experience. And you know what? Dagan finds the items, plays it correctly, and wins the game because of it.
So we're going to go ahead. Don't have a backup match this round because we have got a giveaway for you instead. So we're going to go ahead and take a bit of a longer break, set up the giveaway. We need a chance to catch our breath after that riveting flesh and blood action you just got to watch. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit with a giveaway for all you hanging out at home.